Well, greetings everyone, and welcome once again to another Saturday edition of the Sports Cribs Fantasy Show. I see the crew is here. Hopefully, we can get Chris in today. But hey, wow, it's already down to the last four games of this, or is it three games of the season, depending upon which teams you have. A lot of interesting upsets this week. Let's talk to Reggie here about what the hell happened Thursday night, man.
What is going on, my friend?
How you doing, man?
We're very good. Very good. Always happy to be here. Always happy to talk football for as long as we can talk it, man. We're getting close here. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, man, it seems like just yesterday it was week 1, week 2. Now we're down to the last 3-4 weeks. I mean, what the hell?
I'm in the quarterfinals, the semifinals of my playoff started last week. Actually, my playoff started week 14, right? Because we're going to week 15 this week. So I won my playoff game last week, hoping to get another win here this week. But it's always a struggle. We're in the playoffs if you are in league formats like mine.
And before talking about any kind of league formats and whatnot, man, what happened? 3 touchdowns for Kyle Pitts. I mean, we haven't seen him all year. Now all of a sudden,
let's look at that because I want to see, because I wonder who Kyle Pitts is always at tight end, where he kind of starts a lot because of the nature of the position. Like, the nature of position is just not great. Tight end is just such a wishy-washy position that a lot of times you end up starting Pitts because it's just the tight end position. And even when he's not producing there, let's look at his stats and give that a look. Okay, so here's the thing. All right, so how many touchdowns did Kyle Pitts have?
He had three in that game.
3 touchdowns, right?
I think that gives him a total of 5.
It gives him a total of 4.
4, I'm sorry.
So,
okay.
75% of Kyle Pitts touchdowns for the year came for you in week 14. 15, my bad. This is the Thursday night game. So we're at the start of week 15. Let me not give him that week. We're at the start of week 15. And his 75% of his production came in 4 quarters in week 15. I don't know if that's the definition of a must start there, or a guy that you just got to plug into your lineup. You know what I mean? But Lord forbid you're going against Kyle Pitts this week. I mean, you probably didn't expect that, right?
No.
I need to look at all my lineups to see if I'm going against Kyle Pitts this week, as a matter of fact. I have not checked that across the board.
But a lot of that also had to do with the absence of Drake London.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. So, but you would think that he would at least be able to get a touchdown here and there. Can we get to like 7 touchdowns? That's crazy. Well, even with Drake London being there, this is the Kyle Pitts that we kind of hoped for when we first drafted him. For sure, this is what we were hoping for. This is what we were hoping he would be. But we're just now seeing it. So I don't know.
Now we also have to talk about your favorite player, Kirk Cousins. The week before, he throws two interceptions. Mm-hmm. Next Thursday night, he looks like the Kirk Cousins that played for the Eagles.
Well, when you look at what the Kirk Cousins that played for the Vikings, when you're looking at the Kirk Cousins in general, I remember telling you before, James, even on the other show, the SPORTSKRIB, that I didn't mind keeping him. I remember I've told you before that at the amount of money that we've already paid him, because y'all was asking me when we were going to move him, and I kept telling you, we ain't moving him. We already paid 93%. We paid most of the contract. There's no point in moving a guy. You've already given him all the money. You know what I mean? I'm not moving him for pennies. And now look how great of a decision, at least that looks now. You know what I mean? Because, at least he's serviceable. And we had the jury was still out on even if Penix was better than Cousins. We didn't know that. Like, that was happening. That was in the process of happening. But there's nothing on paper that says Penix is better than Cousins. He has not put anything out there to say that. So he's young and had his way and was kind of playing his way into that, and you wanted to kind of check, see what would go with the young hand and see what you got. But sometimes it comes back to burn you, and I thought that happened in Atlanta, and it happened in Minnesota as well with McCarthy. Having to go with JJ McCarthy and seeing Sam Darnold flourish on another team. You're kind of are stuck with that same kind of situation, whether you go with a veteran or do you let the young kid take over the reins and you kind of see what you got. And I think that's what happened in Atlanta. But it just so happens that we still had Cousins here versus the Vikings. Darnold was gone.
Another guy, I guess we have to talk about JJ McCartney. I mean, we had given him his funeral and had to wake and everything.
Premature for that, in my opinion. I don't like when people write off kids. I'm not a fan of it, man, because you just don't know. I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong, but you don't have a sample size enough to write off somebody that early. You know what I mean? When you look at this, a lot of these top quarterbacks the last few years, whether it is a Sam Darnold, whether it was a Geno Smith last year, at least the last couple of years, and Baker, these are guys that were written off at previous times, and they had played more games than what McCarthy has played. You know what I mean? So he should be given the opportunity to play some games and kind of see where he lands, because at this particular point in time, he's 9 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, rating is 67.4. And that's not setting the world on fire by any stretch of the imagination. And I don't feel like he deserves credit. The same thing that I would say about Michael Penix when Penix was here. I don't think that they deserve credit because they haven't done themselves any favors. They're not going out there and setting the world on fire like the Drake Mays of the world, right? Or Jackson Dart is doing in New York. They're not setting the world on fire early. So they don't deserve credit. But I don't know if they deserve scorn either with this small of a sample size. I think we got to see. You write guys off way too early. I'm not saying he can play, but maybe he can. I don't know. You got to play more games. At least a couple years for me. I need a season or two.
What about the Commanders? Up and down, up and down. We know it does seem like it's Daniels or bust. A lot of injuries also. For that team, but to get shut out by Minnesota after Minnesota was just shut out the week before. I don't know if you saw much of that game, but
a little bit. It's because I was checking to see on Jaden Daniels. I like Jaden. I drafted him early and reached for him in my home league. But it's like any other team in my opinion. I don't know if that Washington in particular, and it's crazy to me in the NFL when people say this, when a team loses its starting quarterback and people are still expecting something from that team. It's interesting to me because it's like unless the other team you're playing has lost their starting quarterback, it's not always going to be an even matchup. And sometimes even if you had your guy, it wouldn't have been an even matchup depending on how good your starting quarterback is versus how good the opposing starting quarterback is that you're playing. It's going to be an uphill battle. Sometimes you can go in and win games for sure. But it shouldn't, in my opinion, be the expectation that you lose your starting quarterback and you're going to be out here just gangbusters, like winning games. Like if you lose your starting quarterback, it's a struggle in NFL. And I've told you this even with our Steelers, man. I told you the offense is questionable to me. And as long as your offense is questionable, you're going to struggle in the league. You're going to have up and down. You know what I mean? Because any given Sunday, you can win. And with great organizations like the Steelers, you're going to pull off some W's. And I think the Commanders are they're not the same pedigree as the Steelers, but since Snyder's still a team and they seem to be trending in the right direction with Dan Quinn there, I don't think that they're doing anything especially wrong until Jaden gets back and you see how they look then. If Jaden Daniels gets back and they look the same way they've been looking, because remember, we're 1 year removed from there being an NFC Championship game, that 1 year removed, about 1 season removed. We just got to see what Jaden Daniels does, man. They seem to go the way of Jaden Daniels, but a lot of teams seem to go the way of their quarterback. Look at the Ravens and some of these other teams.
Yeah. I was going to wait until later, but you gave me so many segues into the Ravens Steelers game that I guess we have to talk about that now. So
Lamar, man, Lamar this year, man, like I'm glad I didn't draft Lamar this year. Goodness, it's up and down for my brother Jackson this year.
And not only Brother Jackson, the big man, Derrick Henry.
Yeah, Derrick Henry is proven to be decently serviceable for me. Let me look and see where he ranks position wise here. Let's go to. I'm gonna use ESPN rankings. Because I have Derrick Henry, I think in 1 or 2 leagues on here, man. So let me look at it and say, look at my team. Derrick Henry right now, position rank 11. Let's look at his game log here. Not terrible. Okay, so a guy like I'm looking at Derrick Henry's game log. Nah, he's serviceable. He's serviceable. Derrick Henry only has. Let me see. So we're in week 15, right? Week 15 now, James.
Yep.
Derrick Henry only has 3 weeks under 10 points. Only 3 weeks where he's been under 10 points. And now he doesn't have many weeks where he's hitting 30. He doesn't have any 30-point weeks. He has a 29-point week, a 20-point week, a 22.8 week, a 17.4 week, and 11.2 week. Depending on where you drafted him at, I didn't reach for Derrick Henry. I think I took Bijan first and then did Bijan and Derrick Henry later. Depending on where you drafted him at, I feel like he's performing for you decently. You know what I mean? Now, it's kind of I got to look and see what Saquon Barkley. I think that might be more of a story with Barkley. I got to go back and look at his stats to see how they add up. But I feel like he maybe not be doing what he did last year. But Derrick Henry is definitely serviceable, in my opinion. Like he's been serviceable for me.
So serviceable to you is 10 points or more?
Serviceable to me is if you can get a floor of 10, because he has 10, but that's not like those 3 games. He only has 3 games under 10, but his other games. Let me look at it. Pull it up here. Let's just go with his last month. Last month, 11.2, 17.4, 22.8, 20.2, and then before that, 11.4, 13.1, 19.1. So, am I hoping that he gets 25, 30 points? I definitely am.
What were those?
Some top guys. Let's look at some of the top guys.
Well, what were those three teams that he went less than 10? Just
let's pull those back up. Okay, so Cleveland game, but not an easy team to play. By the way, by one of the top defenses in the NFL. KC, Kansas City, not an easy team to run on. And Houston, one of the top defenses in the NFL.
Yeah.
So these are 3 top defenses in the NFL. None of these defenses, at least not easy. At Kansas City, they're not easy to run on. So you're looking at those 3 teams, but I feel like a lot of teams would struggle with those 3 teams. I feel like a lot of backs would struggle with those teams. And then he came back with a 20-point game versus Cleveland. And then he has the 11.4 game he has against Minnesota. It's not a bad defense. You know what I mean? I feel like his competition is pretty hard. Like you got the Rams. He's got decent competition here that he's dealing with you got the Steelers. Like he's dealing with decent competition. He's not playing scrubs for defenses. That's probably why the Ravens are doing when I look at this schedule, it might be why the Ravens aren't doing so great. They don't have an easy defensive schedule.
Well, and also we don't have that lights out Ravens defense that we usually have.
Correct. And they're playing good or high-powered offense when they play Detroit, Buffalo. But when you look at it from a defensive standpoint, Buffalo, Cleveland, Detroit, KC, Houston, and Rams, just those 6 teams right there in a row. Those aren't. I mean, your goodness. I hope he had the ice baths ready. You know what I mean? Because you're not. And then he had Chicago after the bye. So it's kind of like you're not playing. Miami is the only. As a matter of fact, when I look at all the teams that Derrick Henry's played, looking at the entirety of their games, Miami. I don't know about Cincinnati, James, but I know Miami is the only team I see on here on all the defense that they play where I could say, that defense is questionable. But all the other teams, Chicago, Minnesota, Cleveland twice, the Jets, Pittsburgh, like these are all good defenses.
We've our division had a rough schedule this year, playing against the NFC North.
The NFC North, it looks like.
Yeah. And we had the NFC North. We had 2 teams out of the NFC West, I believe, the Seahawks, and we had this. Was it the Seahawks and someone?
You mean for Pittsburgh or for the Ravens?
No, I'm talking about our schedule right now, Pittsburgh. So, but when I think one of the disappointments this year, uh, and there are quite a few to point out. Like I said, they haven't played that. I'm talking about the Ravens now. They haven't played that lights out defense. But Zay Flowers, that they haven't really had that go-to wide receivers.
That has been true for me. Okay, so Zay's position rank is 20. All right. When you look at Zay's production, Zay's got 2 games over 20, which is the last game against Pittsburgh. And then the very first game, he had 28 points against Buffalo. All his other games are kind of middling. 0.6 against Cincinnati is abysmal. That's a weak losing. That's a weak losing stat number for you. But you look at these other numbers. I mean, they're okay. But he's not been we thought. But at the same time, neither has Lamar. I mean, if the guy giving him the ball isn't what he is from a health standpoint, it's hard for the wide receiver to be it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
wide receivers are very heavy quarterback dependent unless you're drafting like a lot of studs. You know what I mean? If you're drafting like a Jamar Chase, even still, you saw with Jamar Chase, I mean, he wasn't all the way. I mean, he wasn't as great until Flacco kind of got in there. But you need a very high level receiver to make up for backup quarterbacks coming in and out of the lineup.
Another kind of up and down team, and we're going to see, whether exactly what's going on here, because New England already has the tiebreaker by beating them one time, but the Buffalo Bills, usually by this time they have that position locked up. Now, they're
different day, man. It's different day in New England. And, it's interesting because New England had definitely more of an easier schedule. But New England, so it's hard when the teams have easier schedules. I can't say easy because now they don't play nobody. But when teams have easier schedules than other teams, it's hard to make one-to-one comparisons to them. You know what I mean?
And say, playing the same schedule. They're in the same league. They're playing the exact same schedule.
Are they playing the exact same? No, the Bills playing the exact same schedule? I thought New England had a strength of schedule for New England was easier. Hold on, let's look at this up. NFL is 2025, right? 2025 strength of schedule rankings. Let's look at that real quick. Okay, so based on opponents, the San Francisco 49ers, the New England Patriots, and the New Orleans Saints have the easiest strength of schedule. The New York Giants, the Chicago Bears, and Detroit Lions probably have the tougher strength of schedule because they're playing each other twice. So that's probably not helping their situation. You know what I mean? But when you look at so let's look at it and see. I mean, right? Falcons, okay. Okay, without Buffalo Bills, they're right behind because number 3, you're not off. Number 3 is the Patriots. Number 4 is the Bills as far as easiest schedule. So the percentage, so 43%. I guess that's what they have. I guess the strength of schedule, I guess the wins and losses of their opponents. You know what I mean? So they're playing losing opponents. The Falcons are number 5, unfortunately. We're not having any of the luck of the number 3 and 4 teams here are number 1. So San Francisco's got the number 1 easiest schedule. I think San Francisco, because of their previous success, people are going to kind of believe in that more. And I think that New England is real. I mean, I liked Vrabel. I like the quarterback there. I like the direction they're moving in. So I think New England is a real deal, but it's hard to say that they're going to replace the Bills. The Bills have been so consistent, have done it year over year. So their schedules are similar though. They're both number 3 and number 4 as far as easiest strength of schedule.
Yeah, I mean they're in the same conference, so it couldn't be that much
division playing each other. So maybe they're playing each other because they got to play Miami. Who else is in that division that's just great? Neither team, Miami or the Jets. Neither one of those.
No, it's Miami, the Jets.
That's probably why the strength of schedule is so easy. You get to play them twice, and they're like, that's like a cupcake. Miami, you can take an L to. Jets gonna be hard to take an L to them. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So let's see. Oh, you mentioned the 49ers. They're starting to get healthy. They're starting to get some of their guys back. I talked Wednesday to Bo, And I was wondering, do you think that this might be the division that gets 3 teams in?
It would be the Rams, the Seahawks, and the 49ers.
Yep.
The Rams, the Seahawks, and the 49ers. That's interesting. Interesting. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. I guess we'll see. I like the Rams the most in that division.
When
I
you
like
consider
what's
happening in the rest of the NFL, when you consider what's happening in the rest of that NFC, for instance, your NFC South, for instance, likely to be crowning a new champion there.
Might be the Panthers, man. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah, So when you look at the NFC, do you think that they might be the only team? Before we were talking about the NFC North, Detroit, Minnesota, Chicago, but the possibility of them getting more than one team in. But what do you think about that NFC West?
Some people feel like it's the best division. I think that's one of the things that Dave was talking about before. I feel like it's like the best division in football, and I it's hard to disagree with that. When I'm looking around divisions from a record standpoint, I don't think you can. I think it's 3 teams. They all won 19 games. Looking back and see. But I think I do like the NFC North. Because Chicago's, if Minnesota had Sam Darnold still, the NFC North had 4 viable teams, with Chicago kind of turning the corner. So I kind of like division wise, I do like the NFC North, but I like the NFC South too. I'm trying to see what other divisions I can look around and see where you can get to like 3 teams, right? It's not super easy to do when just looking around all the divisions. You can get to like 2 in a possible with some of those if you want to go if you like Miami as being like an okay team, maybe you can get to like a possible there. You can barely get to 1 team, NFC South. I mean, the Panthers and the Bucs, you got one or 2 there. So, I mean, I think it's a testament to the strength of that division, and it'll be interesting to see if they got 3. I mean, it's hard to argue against any of them. I mean, I like the 49ers the least in those 3, but it's still hard to argue with it, though. I can't.
I mean,
what can you be mad at there?
They are possibly a division that could have 3 10-win teams. So
incredible.
So you have to kind of look at that, but
and they got to play each other. So that's sometimes to be looked at. You got these teams having to play each other as well. So these are all teams where their strength of schedule is got to be high because they're in these leagues where everybody's winning, in these divisions where everybody's winning, and they got to play each other a couple times.
So let's jump over here to the AFC. Phillip Rivers, 44 years old.
That is crazy, man. Isn't that wild? Is he actually starting, bro? I can't. I'm having a hard time with that. Because I'm having a hard time. Is the man starting on a team, bro? Are you telling me that? Or is he just a backup?
Bro, have you seen his dad bod?
Oh man, now I gotta look at it. I gotta look at it. It's hard to believe that he'd be out there this Sunday. There's no way, right?
They haven't.
Yo, it's funny. Yo, they're saying, okay, here I'm reading a story. All right, I'm reading a story right now, 24 minutes from Yahoo Sports, that says Phillip Rivers will reportedly start a Colts against the Seahawks. Okay, now here's what's crazy about this. His last start was 2021.
5 years ago.
Okay, so here's a problem. Here's the problem with this. And that is close to 5 because it was January 9th, 2021. We're in December. We're only about a month off that. We're being a solid 5. You know what I mean? And the thing is crazy. It's 2 crazy things to me about this. For one, the Colts, the team, okay? The Colts have called, and I think in a year, maybe it's 3 years ago, they called Jeff Saturday off the couch to come coach their team. And I want to say if that was like a year or 2 ago, 3, but in the last 2 to 3 years, the Colts have called a guy off the couch to come and coach their team. And literally he goes from the couch to the sidelines, all right, coaching their team. They've called a guy off the couch to come and quarterback their team. Hilarious in that sense. But the biggest thing that to me, there's a big looming factor here that's just going to be very telling about the NFL. Lord forbid this man comes off the couch at 44 and puts up like 350 or something like that. If this man comes off the couch at 44, not going through a training camp, not doing nothing, and comes down and throws for like 300 yards, you got to be like, yo, can we start calling some of these other guys? I mean, we got to start. Tom Brady might start go out back, and that's gonna get Brady back out there.
No, the reason why Brady can't go back out there is because he's the co-owner of the Raiders. But
no, I'm so happy about that because I was at Brady's last game and I overpaid to be at that game because it was Brady's last game. It happened to be in Atlanta. And I was there at that last game, and I've been praying upon hope that the man does not unretire and make those tickets worthless for me. So please stay retired because I was at your last game, Tom, and I want that to be the last game.
Yeah, Tom, it would be a conflict of interest since he's the owner of the Raiders.
All right, man. So at least we don't have to worry about him. But at 44, it would be amazing to see it happen, and just to see a guy come out there, and then it's going to start all those guys. All those I still got it guys. They're going to go out there and start throwing, man. If Phillip goes out there and throws for 300 and they're carrying him off the field and he's doing post-game interviews and all that stuff, that's going to be wild. So I'm interested to see how that goes.
Man, it'll take a few offensive linemen to pick Phillip Rivers up. Like I said,
that's crazy. It might be them escorting him off the field, man. You never know. Gently. Don't. I mean, you can't. Let's not be crazy. I mean, you can't.
The man got 10 kids, so he
was like, I gotta get back out there, man. I can't. I mean, I gotta get. That is hilarious. It's just so funny to me. It's amazingly funny. But it'll be interesting to see. I got Alec Pierce, and now I'm worried. I'm stressed now. You've just stressed me out on this show because now I'm thinking. What, man? Like, what? Like, can Phillip get him the ball, man? Like, okay. Okay, man. I'm stressed. I'm definitely stressed.
I just thought it was interesting. I mean, that's kind of like just thumbing your noses at the last 4 classes of quarterbacks.
Right. None of it mattered. If he comes out and does well, nothing matters anymore, James. If a guy comes out and does well, all the stuff that we've ever talked about, all of the drills, the being there for training camp, the Nelly, you got to show up for all the meetings, all the stuff that people always say, he can make an absolute mockery of that by going out there and doing well on Sunday. He does well on Sunday, nothing means anything. I mean, you don't have to do nothing.
Just show up.
Just show up. Throw a couple balls and you can go into the game, man.
So who's some of your well, let's see. I'm going to go to Yahoo here, and I'm going to ask you what you think about.
Look at my Yahoo squad here. That's a team. Okay. I'm on Yahoo. My team that's in the playoffs.
Okay. Brock Purdy. Start or sit?
Brock Purdy. I would probably start Purdy.
They're playing against the Titans.
Okay.
Yeah,
I feel like I would start him.
Okay.
What is the alternative? Like a lot of times we do these sit questions and they really boil down to what your alternative is. Like, is there an either or? Because that's really the only thing that really creates drama in my personal lineups and I'll give you an example of that because I have Drake May and I have Matt Stafford on my home squad. So that creates a situation of who do I really start because I have 2 viable starters there. If you have one that you wouldn't start, then Brock Purdy's like an obvious start. But if you're thinking about maybe streaming Brock Purdy, maybe you had Daniel Jones. Maybe you're thinking about streaming Brock Purdy. Guys, I don't know if I'll pick up Phillip Rivers, which is crazy to even be able to do. But you know what I mean? Like it depends on who you have to as an alternative. I don't think Brock Purdy is not a start where I'm like, oh man, like gotta hope for the best. But I don't feel great. I don't feel like it's like a world beating start either. But I mean, it's valuable.
Well, I'm basing these on their opponents, on who they play this week. Like I said, Brock Purdy, they're playing against the Titans.
Okay.
Is there easier? There's not many easier matchups. I mean, who expected the Titans to even beat the Browns last week? But that's
Right.
another. Yeah. But another one matchup here is Jason Dart against the Commanders. You got a weak Commanders defense, but you got Jackson Dart that's without Scatterboo, and his Singletary is his running back. I'm not sure. We know about the capabilities of the receivers for the Giants, but because of the way that Scatterboo broke out of the box, there wasn't a lot of fantasy numbers left for the wide receivers. But now that he's not there, what do you think?
I mean,
and
Robinson has proven to be viable, I guess. And when I'm looking at Wanda, I feel like Robinson's had some good games where you could have started him. But these Giants players, especially depending on Dart's health, I think Dart's definitely playing. But these Giants players, they so hit or miss, man. I just wouldn't want to have my team. So Wanda Robinson is the 16th position rank. It's not terrible. And you look at his stats here. He had a month where he kind of disappeared. It's not something where I really want to have to depend on it, man. That's really the problem. I don't want to have to depend on it. You know what I mean? Okay. And I feel like you're kind of doing that with, is it going to be Slayton? Is it going to be Robinson? It's just so much easier when Neighbors is there. Like when Neighbors there, even though it was only there for like an hour in this season, it's just you knew who your number one is. Robinson one game, it can be Slayton another game. But of those two, I like Robinson better.
Okay. Let's see. The Jaguars, they're almost 12-point favorites, 11.5-point favorites over the Jets. The Jets are starting Brady Cook at quarterback this week. Who the hell is Brady Cook? But anyway,
I don't know. That's crazy.
So, do you start Trevor Lawrence against the Jets?
I got to see my Brock Purdy answer here. Like, it depends on who do you have. I feel like you could have not even said who it was against, okay? If you just started that center with, do you start Trevor Lawrence? That's fantasy controversial, like, because it's like Lawrence seemed like you maybe could, but do you want to? You know what I mean? Let me look at Lawrence.
The Jaguars are 11.5-point favorites.
Position rank 14 for Lawrence. Let's see.
There is no position for Brady Cook, I'm sure.
Yeah, and Lawrence could come off and have a pretty good game. I don't know if I'm trusting that, but he could. It's not. He could have a good game. It's possible, but I don't know if I'm trusting that.
Okay, well then let's talk about ATN. Would you trust ATN?
Yes. Yes. I'm putting ETN in. I'm not. ETN is on my lineup. That last minute league lineup with Bill, and I'm number one in that league, and ETN has played a part in that. So I'm running him out there.
Okay, what about Chase Brown against the Ravens?
Running him out there. I wouldn't. If Chase Brown is on my lineup, there's a good chance I got to start him.
He's had 600-yard games in a row.
Yeah, I just a good chance I got to start him. And with Burrow, I just got to start him. Chase Brown, I don't really sit Chase Brown. If Chase Brown was on my team, where I would probably have to the draft capital I would have had to invest in him, he'd be starting.
Okay. What about Trayvon Henderson against the Bills?
The only thing that worries me about Trayvon Henderson is a whole Ramondre situation, right? Is Ramondre healthy? Is Ramondre out? Questionable? Anything of that nature? Because I like Trayvon a lot more if he's not sharing that backfield with Ramondre. If Ramondre's healthy, then I got to go back and look because I haven't watched a lot of their games to look at those splits. I like Henderson more for sure, and I think I'm actually playing Henderson this week. So I hope he does terrible. Let me see. Let's look at this matchup. Yes, I hope he does terrible. Playing him this week.
What about we talked about Scatterboo and his loss, but what about Tyrone Tracy against the Commanders? Again, in a divisional game.
It's just getting down to the names. Like those are names to where no matter who they're playing, I don't know names. You see what I'm saying? Like Tyrone Tracy's an I don't know name, no matter who. If you're looking through your lineups, I would say this, James, just look at not even looking through your lineups. I don't know if you have Tyrone Tracy on 10%, 5 to 10% of your lineups have Tyrone Tracy on them. Are you starting him in any of your lineups?
No.
And I feel like that would be a lot of fantasy people. I feel like there are a lot of people aren't. But at the same time, if for some reason injuries and something like that, and you were forced to start him, very different situation, James. You know what I mean? I'll plug him in there. If I had to grab a guy off the waivers real quick and I was in a bind, I'll grab him, but I will try to grab somebody else. I'll try to grab somebody else first. But if I have to, yeah, I'll put him in there. But I'm not excited about that.
What do you think about Olave? They're playing the Panthers this week. Olave is a wide receiver 16 in fantasy points.
Start him. Got to put him out there, right? You got to put him out there. I don't see why you would sit Chris Olave. I mean, I've been starting him, so. And I'm a Falcons fan, and I hate even having Saints players on my teams. I'm not even sure how many. Do I have any Olave? Let me make sure I'm just not lying. But I would start. I definitely recommend starting him throughout the season, though, and I'm not going to change that recommendation now. I think he's startable for sure.
We got Scary Terry. He's coming back in the lineup. He's been out a couple of weeks now. What do you think? Again, in a divisional game, but again, a game without Jaden, right?
I don't even know if that would bring Jaden back this year, to be honest with you. I mean, it just looks like this just might be a wash season for him.
Considering the way that when they brought him back that last game, I would.
Jaden Daniels is definitely out. So then let me look at McLaurin. McLaurin looks healthy. Position rank 75. Yikes! Probably because of those missed weeks. The last week, so against Denver, he had a 19-point game, at least on my Yahoo. I gotta go to that. See, this is a half PPR. It's probably more. And it's 6.8 against Miami, which is 32nd, though. So, Minnesota, my bad. Minnesota, which is 32nd. So we have a good game against the Giants, supposedly a plus game for him. And when you're looking at the last plus game against the Giants, he had 3.7 points. And I think Daniels was in that game.
Yes, he was. That was the game when he got hurt again.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. It's not a smash start, but I feel like if you drafted Terry McLaurin, unless you've already adjusted to, because with fantasy seasons, what happens a lot of times is you have the team you draft, and then you kind of adjust during the season. So maybe guys you drafted, you're not starting as much. And one of the guys for me that would fit that example would be Xavier Worthy. I drafted him, but he's not really starting. So maybe if you've already kind of adjusted your lineup to where you don't need a Terry McLaurin, you've already kind of got things adjusted there, then maybe so. Maybe you don't need to start him this week. I mean, the only reason I wouldn't start him, the matchup is plus, but the only reason I wouldn't start him is the Mariota situation, the quarterback situation is worrying situation to me. But I think that if you have to, you got to throw him in there.
What about Jacoby Myers?
I'd rather start Myers.
He had a 10-target game last week, and
I like the chemistry between him and Lawrence. Like his building. Yeah, that chemistry with Lawrence looks good. I like Jacoby Myers. I like him more, for sure. So I would start him if it was an either or, McLaurin or Myers. It's not even either or. It's just Myers. It's Myers for sure. But with McLaurin, it's a name, and it's always kind of like whether you kind of get down or you don't like matchups, you're looking at guys, at least it's a name. He has talent, but this hasn't been the year for the Commanders, as we all know.
Now I also have Jawan Jennings here against the Titans. Now, this is kind of, I don't know. Well, let me go over the stats here now. In 4 of his last 5 games, he's had at least 1 touchdown. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but in those 4 games, he's had 1 game with 4 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown. He's had another game with 6 catches, 71 yards and a touchdown. Then he had a game with 4 catches, 54 yards, but no touchdowns. Then 5 catches, 41 yards and a touchdown. And then 4 catches, 39 yards and a touchdown. Now,
Mm-hmm.
touchdown wise, he's been very productive, but as far as his overall stats, what do you think here?
Who is the player? I missed the player you said. I heard the stats, but I missed the name.
Jawan Jennings.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So with Jawan, same thing with him, like with injury issues, right? Kind of in and out of lineups. I feel like I don't know why you wouldn't start Jawan Jennings. Like if you have, because Brock Purdy, you got to think about Kittle. Is Kittle? I think Kittle's healthy.
Yeah, Kittle's healthy.
So you got Kittle out there. You got McCaffrey. There's always a room for that third, and you got to remember at one point we had the viable fantasy with the there was like five players on this team that were fantasy viable at one point. You had Purdy, you had Ayuk, you had Deebo Samuel, you had Kittle, and you had McCaffrey. That was 5 viable fantasy players on the same team. Now, two of those guys are gone, in Ayuk and Samuel, right?
Yep.
Those balls got. I mean, they got to go somewhere. I mean, besides McCaffrey can't take up all the oxygen. I mean, they're gonna have to go somewhere. So I like Jawan Jennings as a starter. I don't know if I like him as my wide receiver 1, but I like him as a start, though. I mean, 49ers, Shanahan, man, scheme him open. You never know.
Let's talk about your favorite position here. We're going to talk about some tight ends. We got Fannin Jr., the tight end for the Browns. They're playing at the Bears. He's been a tight end 11 most of the time, but lately he's risen to a tight end 4.
I think that's probably because of Shador, because of the rise of Shador. He's position 8.
And Njoku is injured, his knee in 14. So
okay. So then there we have that as well, right? So Njoku injured. So he's kind of taking the starting job. And I feel like when you have rookie quarterbacks, tight end tends to be a security blanket for a lot of those quarterbacks. You know what I mean? So they come in and tight ends kind of get a boost a little bit. So it's no surprise, but at the end of the day, the tight end position and at the headache that it is, I mean, I'm not mad putting a Harold Fannin in there. You know what I mean? Like, because it's just a headache position. That's why I drafted so early. That's why I draft like a Brock Bowers or a Trey McBride, and I invest in tight end because I just don't want to think about these things. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to think about where do I start Kyle Pitts and he gets to be 3 points, or do I start it's just hard to have locked in tight ends. Like we thought we had one Tyler Warren or Tucker, of course, the Tucker Kraft that got injured. Some of these guys were just gangbusters, but it's hard to have those consistent, Kelsey, Kittle players year in and year out. You know what I mean? So, but if I had to start a Fannin, no, I'm not mad about that. I will plug him in there quickly, especially with Shador, man. Put up the numbers. He's put up almost 400 yards last week. I'll definitely play him.
Do you start either of the Ravens tight ends against the Bengals? Likely or Andrews?
I would start Andrews over. I would start Andrews over Likely, and I like the Andrews. If I had Lamar, I'm more likely to start Andrews. But let me see where he is at here. I'm gonna look in Yahoo and see Andrews. His position rank is 17, so bottom half. Not great. I'm not excited about that, but at the same time, it's a tight end position. It's the biggest headache positions in fantasy. It's just a headache position. But position rank 17 kind of tells you all you need to know, right? I mean, it means in theory there's 16 guys better that you can start.
Now is one of those guys likely, or is likely?
Let's look at Likely and say
Mm-hmm.
that wouldn't that be interesting, right? If Likely had better stats than Andrews, has Likely even been in the lineup as much? Let's look at Likely. Nah, not close. Position rank 41 for Likely.
Okay. Want to get into a couple lineups here. So let's see. Let's start with Bill's league here. Still haven't figured out the scoring for that league yet. But
That league seems to be a heavy
let's
defense.
see. Okay, where are we? Heavy defense. Last minute. Okay. So this defense,
Chris said that he's gonna try to make it next week, headed to the Bay Area. Just gonna put that out there. Note from Chris there.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Now, of course, this week, Kyle Pitts put up 45 points, 45.6. And of course, since I had Kettle, guess who's on my bench? Guess who's on my bench?
So, it's gonna be Kyle for sure. Definitely gonna be Kyle.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But here's the thing: if you had George Kittle and Kyle Pitts, let's say that 80,000 people had those two players. I felt like 80,000 people would have started Kittle over Kyle Pitts. You know what I mean? Like I don't know who. Maybe some Atlanta fans jump in. I'm an Atlanta fan and wouldn't do that. So yeah, and not to mention, Kyle Pitts is available on a lot of waivers. Like so, that people were able to do that if they wanted to. Like if they wanted to just put Kyle Pitts in, a lot of people had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. But you hate to look on your bench and see 45 points.
Never want to see it.
Yeah.
Never want to see it, man.
Yeah. So anyway, because I have Kyle Pitts sitting on the bench, I'm behind 8 points, 8.1. So I believe, what are you in first place in this league here?
Yes, I am. As a matter of fact, I am. You know, I'm doing pretty good fantasy wise. So in of the leagues that I managed, I had a couple that I just were trashing, but I wasn't really managing those leagues, so I don't count them as much. But as my managed leagues, I think I'm going to be in a playoff in all of them. Because so if we could start. Let's go to the last minute league. I'm 12-2 in that league. Okay, I am a couple games ahead of Bill. Bill's 10-4. He's second in that league, 10-4. So 12-2. Let me look at my matchup this week. I don't have. So I have a bye this week. Are we in the playoffs in this? Oh, so in this league, we must be in the playoffs. Maybe we're in the playoffs across the fantasy landscape. I would have to see. I'm just so jaded there because I am in a league that starts early. So I don't ever I gotta look at my other leagues and see. So I have a bye in this league, so I'm not even playing this week. But I am 12-2 in that league. Oh yeah, man.
Okay.
Projected to have 359 this week, man. I'm on the projection. But I am 12 and I have a bye, so I will be sitting down this week. There, very happy to see that.
Yeah, well, you don't have to worry about it if you have a bye. So that means that you're definitely in the playoffs. You
in the playoffs there.
Yeah, I think you and Bill both have buys in that league.
So let's go to. My bad. What were you saying, James?
This was actually, I think, my worst year ever, and
really across the board.
And it's not that I don't have good teams, well, good players, but evidently I didn't have good teams. And I'll give you an example. In this league here, we were just talking about the last minute league, okay? Mm-hmm. And I'm 500. I'm out of the playoffs. But here's my teams. I mean, just giving you some of the players that I have here. Okay, now my two
You were
running
tied for
backs,
fourth too. That's crazy. You were tied
and
for fourth in that league. It's not like you were trash.
yeah, and look, listen at my team here now. My running backs: Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and in my flex spot, Woody Marks.
Okay.
And I have Kettle. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I've got
You got Dowdle down there.
I got Javonte Williams. Also, so my running backs are very solid. Then for wide receivers, I have Jacoby Myers. I have Daryl. Excuse me. I have Dobbs. I have let's see, and Darius Slayton. So it's not like these are trash teams. Like I said before, my tight ends are Kettle and Pitts. Uh, so it's like I said, seven. I was in fourth, and then all of a sudden, like I'm at 500. So
Yeah, 7-7. That's. I mean, you didn't even have a losing record there.
no, no, and then okay, now let's go over to our SPORTSKRIB League.
Okay, SPORTSKRIB League. I'm not doing as well there. So SPORTSKRIB League, I'm 10-4 in that league. Let's go to our standings there. I am tied for first in the West Division. So I can't say I'm not. I mean, but here's the thing about the SPORTSKRIB League. I'm tied for first, but I went on a run there. I feel like I went on a run. Let me go to my matchups here because I'm definitely playing. Yes, I've won 6 in a row. So in this SPORTSKRIB League, I was doing terrible. I was not doing great. And I've won 6 games in a row in this league. So I've kind of caught on here. Oh, hold on. I'm about to make some changes here, man. My flex. Hold on a second. As we're talking about it here. Let's go to my roster. I'm about to take out who I have Zay in there. We just talked about Zay. Let's take out Zay and put in. Okay, so I just benched Zay and I put in Ted McMillan. I don't know why he was on the bench. Let me look here at what else I can do. So now my only problem here is whether I play Zay over Gainwell. Do I play Zay Flowers or Kenneth Gainwell? That's the only question here. Both projected to get around the same points, with Zay projected a little bit higher, but Zay's also got a harder matchup.
Yeah, but isn't it you? Isn't this you with a 29-point lead? Lead or
It is. I that's because Bijan got me 29.
Yeah.
So, but I'm looking here. It is definitely 29-point lead, but I'm definitely trying to run it up because you never know. You don't know if these teams are going to do here. You know what I mean? Let me see. We got to play the Rams. Oh, man. I got to change out a couple of things here. So I'm not going to players. I'm going to change. Right now, I have. Okay. So let me go ahead and add this defense. I'm going to change my defense in this league because right now, I think I'm playing the Colts or something like that. Okay. So I'm going to add the Bears. So I'm going to take the Bears. I'm going to drop the Colts. Save. Confirm. Okay, so now I'm going to start the Bear. I'm going to start Minnesota's Cowboys defense versus Minnesota. I got Loop there as my kicker. I might change him out there. None of that's guaranteed. But 10-4 in that league. It looks like I am playing this week there. So are we in the playoffs there, or is that just – let me look at the matchup.
No,
are we in the playoffs in that league also?
Yes, we're in the playoffs.
Okay, so first round. Here we go. I mean, I'm leading, but you never know what can happen here, guys.
Yeah, let's see. I'm playing the number 1 seeded team here. I'm a number 4. Let's see. I have Matt Stafford, Gibbs, Bucky Irving, who I got my 8.1 from.
At least you're in the what you call it. You're the lowest seeded team in the playoffs. Did you look at that?
I know I'm number 4. I know that. I'm playing
8 and 6. You're in there. That's only one game difference, James. than your other one where you're not in there, and you're in the same ranking. One ranking you're fourth, and you're not in. One ranking you're fourth, and you're in.
See, I told you it's been
That's because you're tied for fourth in that other league. That's what it was. You were in fourth for like 3 other people.
Right. Yeah, it's like it was like me and 3 other teams, and I lost the tiebreaker. But let's see.
That's a SPORTSKRIB league, right?
Yeah,
okay.
T. Higgins is out this week, so I can't start him. But yeah, I did make the playoffs in the SPORTSKRIB league, which is usual. I usually make the playoffs, but one thing, we can't have a triple winner because Demetrius isn't there. He did win 2 years in a row.
Man, the mighty has fallen. I mean, we have a good chance of crown a new champion here. I'm doing pretty good, man. This is probably one of the best fantasy years I've had. But it's hard for me to call it the best fantasy year I have because I won my first trophy last year. So if I don't win a trophy this year, who cares about all these wins? Like if you get to this year, and even though I'm making the playoffs, I'm having double-digit wins in a lot of my leagues, and I'm making the playoffs. If I win a championship, I mean, is it better than last year where I made the playoffs in like 2 leagues, but I got a chip?
Now, it is another interesting league when we talk about our extraordinary gentlemen. Now, here's another
Let's go to
league.
that one here. Okay, I think that's the last league we have to talk about on here. So let me go to that real quick. Let's go to that league. Okay. Now, that league, we're in the playoffs as well. Let's look at our matchups. So, yeah, playoffs as well. I'm going up against Mr. Carroll there. It's a hard matchup, and he's the number 1 seed. He's 11-3. I'm 10-4. Let's look at that one and see. So I am 3rd in that league. Bill is tied for 1st.
Yeah, I got knocked out of that league again, being tied. I'm in 5th, but I'm 7-7. Again, I lose the tiebreakers in this one.
Yeah. Let me look at my team in this league. Let me look at my players. Or let me look at my team.
This is our keeper league, which really,
Correct. And I love the keeper. I love my team on the keeper league. You already know how I feel about my keeper team. I really love a lot. I got Jacoby Myers on this team. He's on the bench. Let's go ahead and put you back in here, buddy. Got Kittle back starting at the tight end position. Got Boswell. I love having Bos on my teams. Lamb is the only bad matchup here. But what do I do with that? Like I can't bench him.
Now, here's another thing when you're talking about those tight ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's a league where my 2 tight ends are Trey McBride,
okay,
and Kyle Pitts. Guess who I started?
All right. Trey McBride, bro. wait. Here's the thing. You're saying of courses. Here's the problem is you saying the opposite. If you were to hit me up and say, hey, I happened to start Kyle Pitts over Trey McBride and it worked. That's going to be the part where people will be like, oh man, what? That's the crazy. You went all the way out there on the limb. That was amazing. And that was what the conversation would be. The same thing with Kittle. The fact that you would start Pitts over Kittle is the conversation. That is going to be what you talk about. You know what I mean? Not what the results are. I mean, it could happen. You're playing with fire there, though, man. You starting Pitts. I mean, you're playing with fire. I'm definitely going to bench the Broncos. I have the Broncos defense in this league. I just benched them.
Against
they're going against Green Bay.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I had the Packers defense on this too. Even though they are playing in Denver. The only difference here is the air. Not so much the weather, because I think the weather's, Denver is no slouch when it comes to winter weather. So,
right.
So I think the only advantage here is other than personnel, is the air. Air's a little thinner in Denver. Maybe Jordan can get a little more drive on the ball. So now let's see. Who are my quarterbacks here? Okay. Jared Goff or Jalen Hurts. Now, after Hurts' performance last week, do you still have confidence in starting Hurts, even though they're playing against Las Vegas?
I would start him over Goff. I would start him over Goff because, I mean, his position ranks higher, rushing upside, and he hasn't done nothing. Like, if I could look at Jalen Hurts and his, I mean, you're going to have bad games, but his position rank is still 9th. So that's still in theory, or in at least in facts at this point. It means there's only 8 statistically better quarterbacks than him. And Goff is not one of those 8.
Plus the matchup, even though it's Detroit against the Rams, right? So do you trust the Rams defense, or do you trust the Raiders defense?
I don't like either one of those, man. I don't like Detroit, or you mean as far Detroit and the Rams, or you said the Raiders?
Jaden
are going up against Jaden. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's an easier matchup for all the way around. So with this, in this particular case, I would start Jalen because of the matchup, and I would start Jalen because he's Jalen.
And
so in this particular case, it's both things. Like Las Vegas, starting a team versus Las Vegas versus starting a team against the Rams. No.
And
I'd rather play Las Vegas.
And Jalen is at home.
Yeah, that's an easy decision to me.
Yeah,
and I like golf, and that's an easy decision.
Okay. So we're down to these last few games. Are there any real surprises that we have seen, except for the Panthers?
I mean, I think that surprise. I don't know if anybody thought New England would be number 1 in the NFL. I think that's a surprise. And coming into the year, if somebody had picked New England to have the number 1 record in the NFL, like I don't see that on a lot of people's bingo cards coming into the season. But I think, of course, the Panthers doing good is somewhat of a surprise. But this kind of goes back to what I was saying about young quarterbacks. You don't really know yet. Like, you got to give that a couple. You got to let that play out. You know what I mean? And see. I think because the Panthers have just been such a dumpster fire the last few seasons, that it's easy to say, hey, man, that's pretty surprised that you guys just aren't terrible.
Well, hey, man, so hopefully we can get Chris back next week and get over these last few weeks of
ready to make it happen.
Fantasy football, and wish you success in your great season.
Yes, man. It continues. And James, remember what I told you. You have a few more weeks to get that DraftKings. Wait. How many more weeks do we have, James? We have week 15, right?
I am the first one. Well, maybe not the first 16. One, but if you look, I have already set my lineup.
15, 16, 17. 8. You got 4 weeks, James.
4 weeks.
You got 4 weeks, James. Just give us one. I think Chris came in and got a couple. Yeah. I got a couple. I'm mad that I didn't get a couple in front of you and Chris, though, because I don't think you and Chris were there last year. I need to be getting my wins in front of as many of my people I can talk stuff to. I would need to be able to talk as much to as many people. So, and I especially like getting wins again to you and Chris and the other guys in here that actually play. We'll try to increase this over the next years. So I'll probably try to get that number up to about 7, 8 guys playing, 10, 12 guys playing, but it might take a couple of years to happen. But James, 4 weeks, my friend. 4 weeks. I believe in you, James. I believe that in the 4 weeks, you're at least going to get one win.
I have my lineup in. My lineup is already in. It's been in since after the Thursday night game.
Okay. So, we're looking to get that first W. I'm rooting for you, James. I'm actually going to root for you this week, man. I'm going to be selfless and root for you on DraftKings.
I need some wins here because, like I said, my fantasy season sucks this year. For the first, I think this is the very first season that I've actually been closer to 600, and that's
wow.
Yeah, so I'm hurting this season, even with some good teams. But just to let you know, this is our last week for our SPORTSKRIB show, because after this week we fall on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So you can get your last.
Okay, so we
get
a couple weeks, and it will. Well, that's this upcoming. That's this upcoming Wednesday, right?
Right. The 17th.
I will be there, my friend. I am ready to make it happen, and I
show
shall be
for the
present
year.
for that.
Yeah, that's our last show.
I'll be around for that. Absolutely.
All right. So, I will see you and Chris again next week. Give us your final thoughts, and let's go home.
My final thoughts is hoping that we do get a win here for James, guys. And also, James, what's great about this DraftKings league, and this is my first year with the DraftKings league, but what's great about these leagues, and I think the same thing with the Smash Up league as well, is that we can continue to play. So our leagues, our fantasy leagues will be over, but we'll be able to play DraftKings leagues all the way through the playoffs. So I say 4 weeks for James, but he'll really have about 8 weeks.
Six. More like 6 to 8. Yeah, you're right.
About 6 to 8. You're right. You'll have about 6 to 8 weeks for sure.
Yeah.
In there.
So,
all right, brother. I will see you on Wednesday, man. Everybody, good luck, everybody.
All right. Have a good one, Reg. See you next week.
See you, right.